Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. And today we are talking about the Magna Defender. Who is he? Why does he fight for good? And lastly, was he really a ranger? Well, let's start with his history. 3,000 years ago, he fought and died to the forces of evil, led by Trecheron, his arch rival. His son was killed before his very eyes, and he was thrown into a pit, lost forever to time. Or so he thought. Because in the process of dying, he hid the legendary and mysterious lights of Orion, and upon his supposed death, he swore vengeance, and in many ways became a specter unwilling to pass on. So, he would get his chance of vengeance when Michael Corbett, brother of Leo Corbett, would fall into a hole broken into the earth by Trecheron. He would fall straight through, and would be saved by the specter of the Magna Defender by impaling his armor with a sword. The specter of Magna Defender would possess his body and make his way back to the land of the living. He would later meet the Rangers and do battle beside them at least once, and then do many battles against them in the process. All in his quest for vengeance, he would call forth his Zord, Taurus Zord, to fight off aliens as well as lead to unnecessary destruction. So obsessed with his need, he didn't care for those that got in his way, whether they were Rangers or civilians alike. No one's life was above his thirst for vengeance. This is a much darker turn for allies of the Rangers, and notice the word I'm using, allies, because we'll come back to that later. But so the Magna Defender was kind of a big badass when he comes in. He's got a shotgun, sword, blasting, shooting, doesn't care, kind of just like walks in, more like the Cable from the last Deadpool 2 movie. Kind of just doesn't care about anything else going on, no collateral, whatever. He goes in, gets his stuff done, and leaves. However, this quest for vengeance would lead to his own fall. He would almost destroy Terra Venture at the same time too, if not for the interference of his long dead son, who came back to him as a spirit as he laid on the battlefield dying. He would sacrifice himself and release Mike in the same process. Now, I'm skipped a little bit ahead there to explain a little summary, but let's go further on what this process was. He had a plan to destroy Scorpius. In his mind, it was the best plan to go for, because he is a great evil, and he can't let this evil spread out. However, it would cost the lives of everyone on Terra Venture if it went through. He was so bloodthirsty, he just didn't care. If not for his son coming to him and telling him that he believed in him and he knew that he would make the right choice, the Rangers of Scorpius would be all done for. The Magna Defender would fall to his death, scattering his life force to neutralize the deadly contraption trap he had and officially pass on. But also at the same time, he would release Mike and pass on his powers to him. Now, Mike would be the rest of the time as the Magna Defender and would be forced to sacrifice these powers at the end of near the end of the series, when they're escaping the pocket dimension of the Lost Galaxy. And I call it a pocket dimension because it was a weird way of saying it was in and outside of the time and space. It's complicated, so I'm going to call it a pocket dimension. Though before sacrificing his powers, he would save many people on Terra Venture and the Rangers a few times fighting against the alien menaces. And he would show that he was not just a vessel for the spirit of vengeance, but an actual Ranger himself. Mike would later return in Megaforce to use the powers of the Magna Defender, which was never really explained how he got them back because he sacrificed them, and as we'll talk later, the Magna Defender's powers were kind of all over the place. Now, the Magna Defender. Why did he fight for good? Well, we know why Mike fought for good. He was the true Red Ranger for the Quasar Saber chosen. However, why did the Magna Defender, the first original Magna Defender, fight for good? First off, his son. He was probably one of the big heroes of his son and for his planet. He sacrificed a lot to hide from the forces of evil, but he was a good person in things until he watched the most despicable acts of violence brought against him and his family, and he just couldn't take it anymore, and he slowly shifted a little more to evil. Now, Mike, completely different character, was good from the start and was not corrupted by the powers of the Magna Defender, and brought back the legacy of the hero that was the Magna Defender. Now, in the beginning of this video, I said, was he a ranger? Well, officially no, the Magna Defender was not a ranger. When Mike took over, though, he was a ranger. And it's complicated to say, but it's mainly hinted at in the show itself, because his son wears very similar armor, and no one knows for certain if that's just how they all wear it, or what was that entirely. It was just a special suit that his son was given by his hero father. It's not fully explained. What we do know, though, however, is that Mike was the Power Ranger, the Magna Defender, and the official Magna Defender was not a Power Ranger at the time. So, let me know. Now, the arsenal of the Magna Defender, he had a few things. The Magna Blaster, as I said before, it was a shotgun-like weapon that could also turn to a sword. Now, this would let for energy chops, which he'd leap in the air, perform an aerial somersault of some sort, and deliver a straight-down attack that would essentially slash his enemy in two. He also had energy sword attack, diagonal beams of energy that he could slash out with the Magna Sword, and also a force cage. Now, it was very interesting. It's only used once or twice in the series, but he could do it. He also could jump to extremely high, like Power Ranger abilities in extreme distances, extra strength, and all the like. Now, beyond his Magna Blaster, he had another weapon, throwing darts. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he had throwing darts. And why would he need throwing darts? Well, you need throwing darts. So, in that there, he could be pretty interesting there as well going on. In little variations of what's been happening in the Battle for the Grid Power Rangers game, Magna Defender does appear and is corrupted by Lord Draken. And the only ways to bring him back is the spirit of the original Magna Defender to appear before him and remind him just who he was. So, that is the great Magna Defender there was. And also his Zord form. But we're not going to talk about that too much. It's a whole nother video for that one. So, hope to see you guys soon. Let me know, do you guys like the Magna Defender? When you guys were a kid, did you enjoy him just destroying enemies and almost allies alike? I thought it was always cool. I was always a big Edgelord Supreme Power Ranger fan, so any type of those showed up, I was like, I'm in. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys. Bye.